I think I like the challenge of using different modes of communication. I've lived in a lot of different places, like nationally and internationally, so it does come down to sort of cultural shifts and rituals and ways we communicate beyond just linguistics. So then how do we connect with one another almost like beyond language, or just sidestep language and all the complexities of that, and maybe use color or a handshake, common gestures. So you'll walk through the space and almost get hit with color. I want to wake people up too. The whole quote is something to the effect of, had we the definition of life, the calmest of us would be lunatics. And it just gives words to the feeling I have when I'm encountering social injustice and trying to put those feelings back into the experience of an artwork and charge them in a way using color, form, and interaction with people to maybe just highlight that feeling and see what happens. And I'm really looking for ways to move forward. It's sort of a practical field guide, like how did this group of women with no visibility come into visibility? And how have our sort of heroes dealt with racism in the past? And how, if we don't want to stop believing that social change is possible, like how do we do this? And so I think it's a way of using history, an active way of using history and archives. You don't want to fetishize these archives, and that happens so often. So the challenge, I think, in using art to deal with social history is to keep it alive in some ways. I can't help but be so enamored with Barbara Giddings, who is, well, you can sort of learn more about her in the first gallery, but she is sort of known as an activist librarian. She was one of the leaders of the Daughters of Delisle, the first lesbian activist lobbying group, sort of social group too, in the US, started in the 1950s. And a lot of her early work came because she could not find models for her own identity in the library. She went there first for information, for knowledge, for building self in the world, and couldn't find models. And then progressively over time, collected a bibliography, really simply. And it went from there, and did work with other librarians through different groups, task force. And that idea that information has sort of shepherds and not keepers so much, but facilitators, and that we need to take care of histories and present them and represent them and pass them on. I'm really interested in what other people can bring to my sort of vibration moments, things I'm excited about. Then I get to bump those up against things that other people are really excited about, and then it really expands.